Welcome to Inside Atlanta. It is Merete Fields, and I'm so glad that you all are here with us today. I have such an incredible and a special guest, and I'm so excited that you guys get to tune in and join me in our conversation. Her name is Dr. Antoinette Liles. And y'all might have seen her in that absolutely new, really great show on the OWN network called the Belle Collective. Girl, let me tell you, at 31 years old, Dr. Antoinette Liles has already opened her own dental practice in Pearl, Mississippi. It's called Mint Dental. And it's a restorative dental services. She graduated from an HBCU. She's the first doctor in her family. She really believes in social change through visible representation and entrepreneurship. And she values the importance of mentoring and supporting other HBCU students who are pursuing a career in dentistry. But let me tell you, she is a person who puts her money to her mouth because she has made a commitment that she is going to pay for every single Black student who is interested in dentistry. She's going to pay for their DAT, which is their dental admissions test, which is a big deal because I hear those are extremely expensive. She is on the new show again, Belle Collective. She has her BS in chemistry in Jackson State University. She's a yoga instructor. She's all the things. And we're so excited that she's going to be here. So without further ado, let us introduce Dr. Antoinette Liles. So, Dr. Antoinette Liles, we are so excited that you are here. I'm going to give you like a little show, or like get a little overview of what we're going to do. One of the things that I love to do to get my guests comfortable and to also just like get you comfortable and excited is I do this thing called a lightning round. And so basically what it means is I ask you a question, and then you give me whatever your answer is, and it's
gosh,
right? Like it's a lightning, like you don't.
My publicist watching, I'm gonna get in trouble.
You're not gonna get in trouble. They're like your opinions. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's fine.
Oh, my opinions uncensored are like problematic. AF.
Or is it, right? Or is it problematic?
Or are they?
Okay, so I'm gonna get us started. I'm gonna get us kicked off, and then we're gonna dive right in. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
Okay. Okay. Your favorite flower?
Roses, but the pink ones.
Okay. Your favorite movie?
Oh my goodness. Their eyes are watching God or Eve's Bayou. There's something so organic and like truth to those stories.
Yeah. Instagram or Facebook?
Oh, Instagram all day.
We
left Facebook for the old people.
I know. Sweet or savory?
Oh, savory all day. Give me a Bloody Mary over a mimosa, hands down.
Every day. Oh God,
Every day.
Bloody Mary. Oh my God.
Spicy.
Lipstick or lip gloss?
Ooh, certainly lipstick for work. Lip gloss and a cute liner. On the go.
Invisalign or metal braces?
Invisalign for adults, metal braces for children.
Okay. A scary film or a happy ending?
Happy ending, because scary movies, I live as a single woman and things start to get real creepy at like 8:30.
Fair enough. A book that you would read over and over and over again?
Whew. So a bit of a nerd. That means that like I went to like all the really nerdy schools as well. Give me a book that's all fantasy, all magic. I'm talking dragons, and like I want Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes.
I want Harry Potter. I want like this make-believe world, because real life sucks. Real life
especially
sucks.
Adulthood.
Please no. How did I get into this?
Your least favorite food?
Least favorite food. Oh, I'm not a sweets eater. I am not a dessert girl. So anytime you try to give me like a cheesecake, a chocolate. No, ma'am. I don't want it.
Same, actually. I do not like chocolate.
I like chocolate once a month.
Yeah. I don't even like it then. I'm a cinnamon girl. I love it.
Reese cut me down, baby. I'm just like, give it to me.
Last question. Your favorite episode so far?
My favorite episode of Belle Collective so far has been, oh my goodness. I know certainly it's not the one where I told someone to shut up. I would pay them to shut up. I don't know if I even watched that one. It's certainly the one before that.
Got it. Okay.
Sage and Champagne. That's the one.
Yes,
it's the episode we're at my house
my
and they
favorite
almost
one.
burned it down. They almost burned this whole thing down, shut it down. That was my favorite. I was crying, laughing while we were filming it. I was crying, laughing, and seeing it. And it was like, we gotta let the spirits out. It's like, they don't
Open the window.
at all. Open the door.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the lightning round. See, it wasn't that bad. I told you.
It wasn't that bad. No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Antoinette Liles here from
Jackson, Mississippi, of Belle Collective.
Thank you.
Oof, geez,
and
let's run it down.
Let's run it all down because, like, sis, let's talk about these letters behind your name, okay?
Let's do it.
So you are a graduate of HBCU and you're the first doctor of your family. You have your BS in chemistry from Jackson State University. You went to the Doctor of Dental Medicine. You're a yoga instructor on the side. You travel. You got your dog, so you're a paw mom. Girl, you got
She's
all
got her
the
hands
things.
in everything.
And most importantly, not only are you a part of Belle Collective, but you have opened your own dental practice called Mint Dental right there in Jackson, Mississippi. So
yes.
first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much. She tired. She need a nap.
With all of that, honey, yes, I bet. So I want to dive in and talk about careers first, and then I want to talk about Belle Collective because I got some questions and stuff about that, baby.
Baby,
and
I got answers.
I'm ready for the tea. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. So when it comes to your career, I want to know one of the things that I think that has come out and has just been really teased out every single time consistently, I would say are two things. One, or maybe three. One is women empowerment.
Absolutely.
Check, right? Two is about Black empowerment. And then three is around your visual representation of Blackness. It is important for you to make sure other Black people see other Black people in these successful opportunities and in these successful positions. So I'm curious tell me about your journey of how we even got to this place. Because you're originally from Michigan, is that correct? Okay,
absolutely.
So Michigan, Mississippi, how did we get here?
Oh my goodness. So from Michigan, I didn't grow up in the best areas. I didn't grow up with resources just because as Black people, and I don't want to make a general across the board statement, but there is a lack of resources and just representation additionally. I didn't have a female doctor. I didn't have a Black doctor, and I for sure did not have a Black female doctor in any regard. I rarely ever went to the doctor, rarely ever went to the dentist because, it's all problem focused. Oh my goodness, I can't sleep at night, and it's been 2 weeks. And now I should probably see someone about that.
Right.
And so for me, I applied to a bunch of schools based on that were scholarship based, grant based, but most importantly, I only applied to schools that had incredible marching bands because this little one over here, he used to be the majorette captain in her high school. And so I used to lead the parades, baby. Watch me do stands. All right. I do it first and you do it second, however many times I do it. That was my jam. Friday Night Lights. Amazing. And so Jackson State University has one of the best marching bands, if not the best marching band in this country. Hello.
Okay.
I'll fight you about that too. And so that's where I went. But also they had really solid chemistry programs, science programs, business programs. And so they gave me a full ride scholarship. And I was like, you know what? I can do a little bit of sun, a little bit of warm weather. Was not ready for that humidity. Humidity hates here in Mississippi. And then from there, it was just a matter of what happens next. If I do the whole band thing, what do I become, a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, or am I actually going to pursue this thing that I want to? So dental school for me, also in Mississippi. first house, first practice, first marriage, first divorce. But also just like the people in Mississippi are worth fighting for. And if they need a champion, then baby sign me up any day of the week. And so that kind of rolls over into like where I am, right near the schools, both Jackson State and also my alma mater, which is University of Mississippi Medical Center, School of Dentistry, a mouthful. But yeah, just to be a resource for them for sure. And like, that means mentorship, but that also means like just a doctor who actually gives a damn.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. How did you know that you wanted to be a dentist? Like, what was it in your life where you were like, you know what, I have a passion for dentistry. Like, I want to see what's going on with your teeth.
For me, I am I'm pretty black and white as it pertains to like most things. There's not much gray area as it pertains to me. So it's just like, oh, so there's none of us in this. So no one else is interested in going into dentistry. So you guys are going to do business and you guys are going to do media and you guys are going to do whatever else. All right, cool, fine, whatever. I got it. And so I think that's just one of like the pillars of Black women. It's just like, F it, I'll do it. You know, like, I got it, fine. If no one else is going to address this, I'll fix it for us. And so I wish there was like more of a powerful story where it's like, I had a really bad experience as a kid, and truly I did. But also it's just like, we need to be here in these spaces as well. And if, you know, I have to put it on my back and carry that responsibility, if I have the ability, I have the responsibility. And so here I am, but also, girl, I will not be the last one.
Hello. And that's
not if I have anything to do with it.
So one of the things is you put your money where your mouth is. So there's hello. Okay. So there's an admissions test. It's a DAT.
Yes.
The aptitude test. Is that right?
It's dental admissions test. Yes.
Admissions. Got it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm assuming it's similar to a GRE, an MCAT, like
yeah, absolutely.
Whatever the admissions test is, right? Like this is what it is, the DAT. Mm-hmm. And you have made the commitment for all three HBCUs, all three schools in Mississippi?
Absolutely, 100%. I've made the commitment for all three HBCUs, but what I'm finding out as I've launched it is just that I have better contacts at my alma mater than I do at like, you know, Alcorn or like Mississippi Valley State University. Like I just, you know, like there's more of a connection, but also I'm 10 minutes away. So I can just drive up there and be like, hey, you didn't respond to my email. So like, I'm here now. But yes, as the program grows for sure. And I had a really exciting call this week where I am now connected with a national program, and that's really cool. And I'm conducting my first mock interviews for someone who's applying for medical school on Thursday.
That's so exciting.
It's crazy, right?
It is. That's what happens. You put it out in the universe and the universe responds. That's how it happens. Mm-hmm. I'm curious about like how, I think one of the things, and I don't think I actually gave you this context. So one of the things is I have a podcast as well. And my podcast is Space for Black Girls. Thank you. It's a career advice podcast. It's really talking about empowering and ensuring that women of color, but specifically Black women as well, are really focusing on how do you ensure that you're advocating for yourself in all of these spaces when 9 times out of 10, you're most likely the only one in that space. And 9 times out of 10, no one is trying to advocate for you. But like, how do you go through these processes? So I'm curious to know, just in your own experience, especially like being a dentist and then also like being an entrepreneur, which I want to talk about as well. Like, what are some of the things and like, what are some of those tips where you felt like when you're not in those spaces, this is how you still have your voice?
So I think you need to know your history, like your Black history and your Black girl history. And so ordinarily we will be ignored. And so it doesn't matter for me. Again, it's black and white. There's no gray areas. So for me, I understand fully that when I walk into a room, I don't just represent myself. I represent perhaps the only Black person that they're going to see, the Black doctor that they're going to see at that conference that year, or, you know, the only Black woman. And oh my goodness, like, how did she get in the room, sort of thing. And so like, I'm clearly aware of that. And so if I do not want to be ignored and I want, like, they would prefer to acknowledge me or be dismissive, I'm going to walk up and I'm going to introduce myself to everybody in that room. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? My name is Dr. Liles. No. Not a student, actually. I own my own practice. And so you just have to have the gauze to like say, like, if I'm in this room, I'm not going to be in this room and just be like, you know, potpourri. you know, like paint drying. I am actually going to make a difference. But more importantly, no matter how uncomfortable I am, that initial time, like you are when you're finding your footing in anything, I'm committed to learning how to command the room and the energy that I possess and the presence that I possess. But also when those next girls come in, they won't be the only one in the room, because at least they can sit next to me and I can say, let me give you the game, girl. Let me give you the game. You need to know him, you need to know her. And so, I mean, it's about representation. Representation matters, but also when you have your foot in your door, like, it's not just important to be Black, you know, but to like be Black.
And there's a difference.
There's a difference.
You know,
I don't think that they could in the generations before us, so I won't fault them much, because, you know, they just had to get they had to set the plate. You know? But the rest of us, we can show up, like, and the ones that come after us, they're not even ready for them, because they are vocal and they are political and they are advocates in a way that we didn't even, like, me personally, didn't have the courage to do initially. But now I'm just like, oh, well, I got to do it for them.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about paving the way.
It really is. And it's important. And I appreciate that that's like something that you've just really dedicated yourself to as well. Like it matters.
It definitely matters. We can't get to where we want to be unless we take the first step. And I think the first steps have been taken. But, you know, in following the paths of the people forged before me, it's like, how do I make the path wider, you know, for the people behind me?
Yep. Yeah. I want to talk about this, your connection of your passion and entrepreneurship, because I feel like this is something where, especially now with COVID, I think COVID has like aroused something that's in everyone. And now where, you know, you live in a pandemic and you see, unfortunately, like so many deaths, or you see so many people who are close to death, it completely changes your perspective of what your life is supposed to be like and your purpose. So I'm curious to know a little bit about if you can give some advice on how people are able to couple both their passion and their entrepreneurships, because I don't know about you, it's like the housing business. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are popping up right now who are just like, no, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, so what advice do you have to people who are interested in being entrepreneurs and marrying their passions as well?
So what I will say, again, it's a history thing, but it's also, you need to be well read. And so, like, you know, it's important to have a dream, but you also need to do the research and the required reading, like homework. And so the way that America was built, like even its tax structure is such that you have to own your own stuff. And I'm talking about owning your own house, owning your own business, because otherwise you will remain an employee. And the employees, like, America has literally, sadly to say, we've built ourselves on the backs of others. And so where do you want to be in that narrative? Do you want to just be okay with like having a paycheck and guaranteed income like every 2 weeks? For me, as a single woman without children, like, taxes eats me up every year, you know, unless of course you own your own thing. And then also a woman of like childbearing age, at some point when I do have children, I want there to be a job that I can return to without me, you know, without the issue of like losing that job, but also just making sure you secure your future. And so all of those things considered, if you don't want to be fired, if you're tired of like renovating your resume, if you are tired of being on the low end of the totem pole, like, there's so much that you can do and the resources are out there. And it's going to be, again, harder for you as a person of color, as a woman, just because, again, we are traditionally ignored or like dismissed, but we're here to show you, those of us who have done it, that like it can be done. And then those of us who are interested in mentorship, we're just like, all right, give me a call. I want to know how serious you are about that. Like, let's take these steps. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's about that. Even podcasts, I think, are fantastic because you do not limit yourself to like perhaps begging for radio time, you know, like even with when people are dropping music, you know, like unsigned artists, I think that is fantastic. With social media, it's like I will create my own narrative and I'll get my own pictures and my own shots, because guess what, I don't need a magazine to do this. And so it's that culture. And that's what I love about millennials, just like breaking down the system. It's like, hey, the system sucks.
Yeah. We're going to make our own instead.
We're going to just do it ourselves by ourselves. It doesn't matter. There's an app for that.
Yeah. And I created it, so it's fine.
It's fine.
My last question before we transition to the show. there was a scene in
Mhm.
actually in the same episode that we were talking about Sage and
Mhm.
Champagne, where you were sharing just that you were having this issue. It sounded like almost like imposter syndrome, right? Like a little
Mhm.
bit where you just had so much fear about like if it doesn't go, like what
Mhm.
happens, like what do I do, like
Mhm.
it was such a vulnerable moment that I
Yeah.
always appreciate when
Mhm.
Black women especially are
Yeah.
able to showcase vulnerability, because
Mhm.
we're always couched and boxed in to say, well, she can do it all, it's
Yeah.
fine, she doesn't feel like it. And I'm sure in the
Mhm.
medical field as well, like I think
Yeah.
those are things that are definitely linked to why Black women have the highest mortality rates when it comes to pregnancy and so on and so forth,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So I always appreciate those vulnerable moments. So my question to you is around just like fighting imposter syndrome, how did you get through it or go through it and get over it, right? Because I think that's a fluid thing that we always kind of deal
Yeah.
with. And what advice would you give around like getting through imposter syndrome?
Okay. So what I will say is that I am not over it. I am still actively
Mm-hmm.
going through it. And so there's the situation, it's almost like ingrained in you. Like, I heard a quote. I will not tell you who this quote is from, but it
Okay.
says that if you say a thing regularly, often enough, then it becomes the truth. And then an extension of that is even if it's not true, it's the perception of the truth. And so if you have this defeated mentality where you can't do it or it's too hard, it's too difficult for you, then like that becomes like your narrative, that becomes your being. What I have been actively doing like since the pandemic hit, because I was unemployed and newly divorced and also like stuck in my house in a way that does not like serve me, because I like to travel the world and see places. And so here I am and I can do literally nothing. So what does that look like now? It's those baby steps again. It's those, this is a thing that I ordinarily think that I am not able to accomplish, but I'm gonna try it. And then you try it and it's good and you start to see the results of it. And I mean, we can be talking about workouts or we could be talking about applying your eyelashes for the first time. But for me, it was creating a dental practice. And it's like, well, let me see what will happen if, I return these emails. And then if I pursue this based on that last email. And before you knew it, I had a practice. I had a loan for a practice. I had an interior designer for a practice. I had started my construction. I had a TV show that was covering the construction of my practice in my life. And I was just like, what is happening here? And so even now with it being my first practice and me not even truly, I'm not going to say I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to say that everything is so new and so fresh. There's questions and that negative self-talk that happens and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so my favorite way to describe myself in 2021 is that I am confidently lost because I am well researched and well read, but I am doing it all for the first time. And so I think that's what beats the imposter syndrome, the proving it to yourself that look at what I did.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I still can do it. Like it's fine.
And I'm doing more. And I'm trying to find my footing and I'm closing my eyes behind the back of like a raging motorcycle. But every time I peak, I'm still upright and I'm still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that analogy. Okay. So we're going to switch gears. Okay.
Let's switch gears.
So I want to know, how did it become like, how did you start getting on the show? Like, I'm curious about just the Belle Collective. Like, how did this happen? Like, let's start there.
I think first of all, my Instagram lit.
Okay.
I think, but I mean, I think that with me personally, I tell a very powerful story, like not being from Mississippi, but also as a Black female doctor, opening up her own practice, but choosing to give back throughout every step of the way. I think that's incredible. Representation certainly matters. And so I don't know how many people are putting themselves out there for the world to just flame them up, but here I am, serve me on a platter and eat me up all over. But I think there are a few people who are just kind of like in tune with what I was doing, because I do overly share. I do keep a lot of the more private, more vulnerable moments to myself. But I mean, I'm always out. I'm always doing something, right? Yeah. And so when I got the call, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna be there in a month," and I'm like, We need to get ourselves together.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need hair, we need makeup, we need accessories, we need clothes. Like, oh my goodness. Like, it's one thing to be doing your thing privately, like posting your best pictures on Instagram. It's something totally different to do it for TV. And they're just like, we don't like it.
We want something now.
We want something more. Give us more. And I'm just like, I am dying over here, okay? I am literally caffeinated.
There. Okay, that's so cool. So I'm curious about just like the concept. So there's the women empowerment brunches, and the purpose of those brunches were to really get everyone connected and investing in is it fair? So this is the thing, like every time I see it, I'm a native Californian, so like but my people are from the South. So I hear the Southern accents, but when I hear the accents, I'm like, I don't know if it's fair, like because that's my California lens, or if it's like far and it's like, so what
Far
is
Street?
Far? Okay. Every
No,
time
no,
I
that's
hear
not.
it,
I'm just saying, like we
oh,
have,
see what I mean?
we have like
every time I
Magnolia
hear it, I'm
tone,
like,
and so like we slow up the words a lot. It's Fair Street.
Fair Street. Okay.
Say it with an E.
Got it. Okay. Fair, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, is it far or fair?
No, fairish.
Fairish.
Like fairish, but fairish.
See?
I also can be that so far. I'm trying to teach you English, and I speak this.
Fairish Street. Okay.
There you go. That's
so with Fair Street and the revitalization, I'm curious, like what's going on with that? Like, where are you guys with that, with the revitalization, and like how people are able to invest, and like where are you guys with that?
So Fair Street is ordinarily like a historical district. It was a Black like epicenter of like commerce and like everything. And so it's probably going to be a project that takes a really long time. And like, I know how long projects take time, like how long it takes, you know, just from like a build out situation, or even me getting like signs up, or me like hiring employees. And so, I don't know if I know the answer to your question, but I do know that as a businesswoman, like these things just take time.
Yeah, fair. How do you feel about your like contribution to the project as well? And have you decided and figured out how you're going to contribute? Like, would you put a small practice like on the street as well, or yeah?
I will tell you that I am actively overextended, like to the nth degree. And so I'm not certain, or I'm pretty certain that that's not something I could just like hop in on right now until like I have, you know, a little bit of experience underneath my belt with my own practice currently. And so I'm going to get this one off the ground. I'm going to get this one, you know, well patroned. I'm going to get this one well marketed. And then we'll see what the future holds.
Fair enough. No pun intended.
Oh, but it was a good one.
Thank you. So I want to talk now about this transition from divorce life to single life. So obviously, you know, share what you want to share, because you kind of mentioned it on the show where you were married previously to a white man, and then after that you guys like had a disagreement, and then tell us more about like what happened, and then how you unfortunately got to the place where you guys decided to end up and split.
Yeah. And so I am a doctor, and I was married to a doctor. And so like, you know, certain decisions you just don't go into lightly. And so we were actually in marriage counseling like all of 2019. And so the decision wasn't just like, I'm upset with you and I'm gonna end this because you didn't change the timer on the microwave and I hate it when you do that. You know, it was more like, all right, so what we want for ourselves, like we're going in different directions. And it was more of a uncoupling. And so uncoupling is not a Black word. It is not a Black phrase. They do not know that. In Nigeria, you stay married, baby, and you work through it, and Jesus is gonna get you through it, and like whatever. But you know, again, like being a millennial woman, and we're breaking down systems. Like, how many women do you know that are in unhappy marriages? Like, even on this show, like how many partnerships did you see where like they were experiencing like some really like heavy, you know, disagreements, conflicts, you know? And so with me knowing exactly what I want to do from a career standpoint, knowing that I eventually want children, but maybe I don't want them right now. I think it was just like a really smart and wise decision. And I don't think that divorce has to be ugly. But we uncoupled more than anything.
Got
And
it.
so
it's still amicable.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great.
Like
And
if I needed something put up in the practice, he could come over and put a hole in the wall and do the thing. But
that's
I
awesome.
never have to call.
And I feel like there's not enough of those types of
Yeah.
stories where
Yeah.
people are intentional and
Mm-hmm.
strategic almost to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you end it before it gets ugly. And then
Right.
it's just you know what? It's an uncomplete, like we are split, like we're just in two different places and it's time to go on.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Because I mean, marriage, the institution of it is also business, you know. So like, if you just say, hey, if we come to the table and try to put a pin in our emotions, then what do we really want out of this, you know? And it's not that like you don't leave like you're heartbroken, but it's just that, you know, let's do it as maturely as possible.
Yeah, that's great. So then we saw you on a date with David from Ghana, from your trip when you went to Ghana and said, you know what, this is a lot. I need a reset button. So what's going on with you and David then?
Let me just say that this is a lot. I need a reset button. Now that you guys are tuned in, I do it often. I did it literally like last week in Miami. And I was just like, yes. I need a reset button. And I just go. I just pop a flight and I go. But so David, David is just a really great guy. He's a really attractive guy. He's a really well-dressed guy. He also went to HBCU. He's in a field that's dissimilar to mine. And I was like, hey man, how you doing with your cute self? You want to go on a date with me? It's probably going to be on TV. And he was like, what? And it's just like, I mean, it's a little different than like an ordinary like first date, but let's just do it. Let's just do it. And so like, I love that he flew in. He's just like, all right, we're about to get some champagne. We're going to be outside. We're going to do a picnic situation and we'll just chat.
So where is it with you and David now?
Why would you let me talk my way out of that?
No, it's not going because I'm a millennial too. That's why. No.
Why wouldn't you let me talk my way out of that?
No, I already saw that. I was already tuned in. Cute. It was outside. Y'all snuggled up under the blanket. I already saw that. What's up with you and David now, though? David is cute. He's in Seattle. Okay, you went to Miami. Who'd you go to Miami with, David?
Don't you mind your beeswax, okay? What do you mean?
Ooh, you was the solo trip.
No.
Go on the gram. I'm gonna go on the gram and see
you
what
won't find it.
Oh, so then you did go there. Aha!
I promise you won't find it. Ooh. I have been on several trips and I never go alone, and I promise you won't know who I'm with.
I respect that. I like the good balance of like private and public. I like you putting your narrative out there. You still ain't answered my question with you and David though. But I see you don't want to answer my question with you and David.
We are still in contact. I still speak to him often.
Mm-hmm. When's the last time you saw him? All right, I'll leave you alone. I want to talk about the you kind of talked about it already with the sister revelation where what happened? Because you were so poised. Was it a Gemini moment? Like, because you were so poised and you were like, you were cool, but then when we start standing up clapping hands, it went. So tell me about that process.
More than anything, so I think that was like we were 3 weeks out from like cut, like it was a wrap. We weren't going to be filming anymore, and I kind of saw like seeing how like these girls group, when we're all together as a collective, how they transition. They never end well. They just don't. And so like me opening up the practice, like trying to film, still working, and then doing this thing. And like even the notion of a sistervention, like something needs to be intervened, right? Mm-hmm. And so I just felt like it was another situation where we were going to talk about bundles and brunches, and I was over it, to be honest. I was over it. And so in that moment, I think, again, like, because immediately after you see me being like incredibly vulnerable, but like in that moment, I was just like, y'all, we are wasting my time, and I will pay you to shut up because it's a wrap.
Because I'm done.
I'm done. I'm done. So done.
I got two more questions for you. The first is, you and Marie,
Yeah.
how are you all's relationship now? Like,
Mhm.
what's going on? Like, is it amicable? Do you still keep your distance? Like, what's going on with that?
Tell me this: do we seem like we're friends on the show? I don't know, just from like,
Antoinette,
like
yo,
from
if
a
I'm
like a
ever in Mississippi,
viewership standpoint, like.
Antoinette, if I'm ever in Mississippi, and I have family in Mississippi, so I would love to grab a Bloody Mary with you. You crack
Oh
me.
man, I know all the best places.
So I'm gonna say that's a no. I'm gonna say that's a hard no between you and Marie. Okay,
One
that's
thing I will say is that when she refers to me, she better make sure she puts doctor in
oh,
front of my name. Not only that, the only mess and like being real that I'm concerned about is my real business. Okay.
facts. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Last question for you. What's next for you now? You have your practice open. Is season 2 confirmed yet?
Ooh, where's the tea? Get it from Antoinette. I think there are talks about a season 2. Nothing is confirmed. I am not certain.
Okay.
When that email comes in, then maybe I'll tell the world. But
Okay.
this one keeps her secrets. She
Fair
keeps
enough.
plays her cards close to her chest.
Okay.
Outside of that, like actively like launching that mentorship program
Mhm.
and like expanding it in such a way and getting the context that I need in order to make it for all 3 HBCUs. And like I said, I have my first mock interview
I'm so
on
excited for
Thursday
you.
for a girl that wants to be in medical school. And I just think again, it's getting my feet wet. But I'm partnering with a like national platform, and that's really cool because they saw the show.
Yeah, you didn't tell us. Do you want to share what the national platform is, or do you want to wait until it already happens? Got it.
We
Fair
gotta
enough.
we gotta wait. We can't sabotage. Not everybody's watching because they want to help you.
You know what? I don't even you are absolutely right. Okay, fair enough. I'm excited for you though. One of my favorite things
Thank
to do
you.
is also mock interviews. I love doing mock
Mm-hmm.
interviews because it helps people just feel more comfortable and
Mm-hmm.
confident when
That first interview, you're so anxious, you're just so anxious. So like if you have a few practice goes and like you have someone that's actually in your corner and telling you like, hey, what if you did this or you wore this or you said this, and like take that part out, then now you're ready for the big dogs, for the big
Yep.
league.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Great.
that's what I want for all of our Black students. Like I want to prepare them for the big leagues.
And I wanted to. So I'm so glad that you're doing it. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on your success. There is nothing more that gives me joy than seeing another Black woman be so successful. So I'm so happy that you are so successful.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
all for tuning in to InStyle Atlanta.
Bye. Thank you. I've enjoyed this interview
Oh, thank
so much.
you.
And
Thank
I
you.
like your face. Like,
Thank
let's do
you.
this again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're so glad you're here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had so much fun with this interview, and I hope you guys had the same exact amount of fun as well. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. It's at InStyle Atlanta Everything. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, okay? We're even on LinkedIn. Make sure that you subscribe. And in addition, if you have Roku, make sure you download our app called Watch This. It's all of the interviews right there at your fingertips. So if you don't have it already, make sure you tune in. If no one told you today, you're awesome. And also, I hope you guys have a great and terrific day. Bye.